Part 60. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 596. Chapter 596 Two Saying Shapeshift Great Art. I have nothing. Wei Suo shook his head. The picture, the divine light, the great treasure like God King and the ruin of the entire city with tens of thousands of cultivators, all of which made him completely shocked. This ancient heavenly dragon, what tricks ah! When Wei Suo's breath was not distracted, Han Wei felt that Wei Suo had no damage, but she couldn't help but scream at the surging sound of the white ancient heavenly dragon. This is the last remaining consciousness of this ancient heavenly dragon. If you renege on it, it may even cause damage to you. The female cultivator looked at Wei Suo's look and saw the clue. But should it be because of your trustworthiness, and use the only will, and pass something to you? Is it something for you? When I heard the female cultivator, Han Wei seemed to be excited about this white ancient heavenly dragon. Wei Suo, is it what it passed to you? Even if I am not the real heavenly dragon, it may not be able to be culture. Wei Suo shook his head and stood on top of the 5 colors jade mountain. With the smashing of the qi and blood of his treasure, the spiritual qi, which was constantly on the pieces of the tree, turned into him. True Yuan, while True Yuan in his ti kept the great treasure, he and the God King, who stood at the top of the city, were the same, and the dazzling divine splendor imaginary cultivator reunited. At this moment, the ancient thoughts of heavenly dragon and his thoughts merged with each other. He suddenly fell into an epiphany and suddenly understood. Divine Mystic Realm 5th Layer. Wei Suo's mouth unconsciously spit out these 5 words. Divine Mystic Realm 5th Layer? What does that mean? Jia and female cultivator couldn't help but look at Wei Suo. This ancient heavenly dragon finally conveyed to me the consciousness that a great treasure of divine mystic realm 5th layer could suffer from the Scorpio and was finally destroyed by heaven's might. Wei Suo looked at Jia and others. The eyes of Jia and others are suddenly full of surprises. What does it mean when it tells you this scene? It is still reminding me. Wei Suo looked at Jia and others, took a deep breath. I understand this. According to the records of the classics, only when the true immortal realm 4th layer is repaired and the true immortal realm 5th layer is broken, the cultivator's instantaneous breakthrough of the origin chi is too intense, which will cause the heavenly origin chi to change dramatically and lead to heavenly tribulation. However, if a cultivator and divine ability are too strong, it will be far from the cultivator of divine mystic realm 5th layer. The tree seems beautiful in a forest. When divine mystic realm breaks through to true immortal realm 1st layer, may promote heavenly tribulation in advance. Female cultivator's face suddenly became very dignified, looked at the Wei Suo, frowning. It means that a cultivator, if the fortune is too amazing, the beginning of the achievement, just like Changhong through the day, the general cultivator can only look up. There is no match at that time. In divine mystic realm 5th layer, it is possible to advance heavenly tribulation, but suffer from extinction. What it means is that Wei Suo is likely to be such a cultivator. Nangong Yuking's face also suddenly changed slightly. Any cultivator knows that the cultivation world divides the cultivation base into so many levels. That is because there is an insurmountable gap in strength between a level and a level of cultivator. Divine mystic realm 5th layer's cultivator, even because of the great treasure, so that the true treasure of the treasure, the shock of the heavenly origin chi, even in the moment of breaking into the true immortal realm, can even reach the general true immortal realm 4th. The layer cultivator breaks through the point, but the pure true UN power, and the real true immortal realm 4th layer cultivator, still have a great treasure gap. Now Wei Suo and others are ignorant of the divine ability of divine mystic realm above cultivator, but according to some cultivation world legends, divine mystic realm and above, each breakthrough 1st layer cultivation base, will have a layer of astral origin chi sensation. The powerful energy of the technique, is even more amazing and pang great treasure. And between the divine mystic realm 5th layer and the true immortal realm 5th layer, at least a minimum of 100 years of difference. Because since the heavens dome, the entire ancient cultivation world to the present, the history of the cultivation world, has not been able to repair the true immortal realm 5th layer from divine mystic realm 5th layer in just 100 years. Even if it is only 100 years, in this 100 years, the cultivator above divine mystic realm will have a lot of experience, how many great treasures will be obtained, how much skill and how much experience will be gained. True immortal realm 4th layer's cultivator, which is a great treasure, most of them can't resist heavenly tribulation. If it is replaced by a cultivator of divine mystic realm 5th layer, it will only be degraded in the unexpected lust condition. 100% to fall. The cultivator above divine mystic realm has only a few names throughout the heavenly profound continent. Moreover, even the great treasure cultivator above golden core stage does not generally spread its understanding of culture, so the entire cultivation world, some books about golden core cultivator cultivation, are very rare. When Wei Suo was at Sea Immortal City core formation, the knowledge about core formation and the great treasure were mostly based on Li Yazan, and there was no useful record outside. The classics about divine mystic realm cultivation are almost nothing. Heavenly profound continent 2 or 3,000, even the cultivator of divine mystic realm 4th layer has not appeared at all. Even if Wei Suo can successfully repair divine mystic realm or even the pure culture foundation of divine mystic realm 4th layer 5th layer, I am afraid that there is no news about divine mystic realm cultivation. Not to mention Wei Suo, even the famous female cultivator, which is not known about divine mystic realm. And according to this ancient heavenly dragon, this picture was finally introduced into the lust shape of Wei Suo's divine consciousness. It may be a great treasure. Most divine mystic realm cultivator, but also some fascinating genius cultivator, at divine mystic when realm 5th layer is used, it can even evoke heavenly tribulation. This ancient heavenly dragon, after many years of ignorance, and the Wei Suo cultivation heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, knows that heavenly dragon's eyes are completely different from the cultivator's eyes, and the incomparable mystery can see the cultivator. I can't see it at all, there are many tracks that are not expected. It is now obvious that in the eyes of this ancient heavenly dragon, Wei Suo is very likely to become the God King cultivator. So in the end, heavenly dragon used the remnant will to introduce the scene into Wei Suo's mind, which is extremely important. Without such a message, Wei Suo is probably 100% depraved. In other words, this ancient heavenly dragon may even see an unimaginable trajectory, and even see the fall of Wei Suo in advance. Even if this is Lin Fenghua, the inheritance of ancient three sovereigns sect, I got this dragon burial mound. Not surprisingly, he should be as degraded as the cultivator of God King. Wei Suo watched Ji Ya and others nod. He finally took care of the dignity of this white ancient heavenly dragon, did not swallow its Ru body and Long Dan, and sank it into the ground. This white heavenly dragon is also reciprocating, so that he avoids such a fall. Now that I know such a trajectory, Wei Suo will become such a God King cultivator. In the case of a lust with sufficient preparation, it may not be like the cultivator of the picture, and it will eventually fall into hatred. Ji Ya, you will charge all these heavenly dragon bones and dragons first. Wei Suo took out a dozen treasure receiving pockets with both hands and took out the amazingly significant ancient storage ring and handed it to Ji Ya. You want to break your own, or I want to kill you. After handing these things to Ji Ya, Wei Suo looked at the succubus deer that he had ignored. He sneered, or I can still give you a choice, if you follow me and let me control, I can spare you a life. The surname Wei's guy, I can't think of this ancient heavenly dragon. You won't slap you. It is also a monster beast, but it is not easy to do intercourse with me, and you do intercourse easy. It's an idiot. Looking at Wei Suo looking at himself, this succubus deer is a look that is not afraid, but the face is a somewhat proud look. Do you think you have already won the battle? Do you think that only you have some means? Which level of monster beast have you seen? Will you chanting to the cultivator? The look on the face of this succubus deer made Wei Suo's brow wrinkled. He really couldn't think of it, and the other side had something to rely on. Now the smell of this succubus deer is as messy as the dead leaves of the wind. Obviously, under his heavy blows, he suffered a lot of damage. I am afraid that the decent surgery is not exciting. Hey, tell you, you still don't want to find yourself dead. Follow the old great treasure, you won't lose. At this time, Yang Rougebird couldn't help but say this. If you kneel down and ask me now, I might as well put you in the horse succubus deer sneer. Some of the delicate sounds of the surging sound have a smattering taste and deep disdain. Are you sick? Yang Rougebird is incredulously looking at this long-tailed cyan spirit bird. I think it is also a bird. How is the difference so great treasure? Do you know what this is? The succubus deer suddenly smiled, moved the position, and renewed a round thing behind him. This is a core bead, golden and clear, looks like a glass, but it looks like a golden great treasure. See? This thing, it was the first time it was hit by the God's secret place young man when he fell to the ground. This is awkward, I don't know. Yang Rougebird stayed and shook his head. An Weisuo and female cultivator looked at each other and immediately reached for a drop of fire earth dragon blood and tapped into the chest of ghost raising jar. Don't be busy, let me tell you what it is. There are two kinds of things, one is good, called the day burning with the crystal, a common point called Ying Sak. Seeing the action of Weisuo, the succubus deer smiled a little and looked at Weisuo and Jia, female cultivator, and others. This is not good, Weisuo, kill it. As soon as I heard the words of succubus deer, the female cultivator suddenly changed the great treasure and made a surging sound. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 597. Chapter 597 Can't Stop. Pa! The female cultivator exclaimed the surging sound, and the succubus deer shattered the shell of the rounded core bead with a single click. At the same time, a dark golden brilliance and a flash of light flashed, and succubus deer flew back again, and a blood rushed out. Then, a cyan monster core collided on her and let her vomit a blood. Blocking Weisuo's blow is the monster core from the succubus deer. Now she has completely incarnated Blue Luan, even the monster core has been completely transformed into the Blue Luan monster core, but the damage she suffered before is too heavy, and now it is difficult to resist the Weisuo's blow, but it is even their own monster core can't control it. Instead, it is vomited by its own monster core. The lust looks very miserable. It's not that easy to kill me. I can still watch the halftime show and go. But her eyes were filled with a smug look that could not be said. At the same time as her surging sound, the broken core bead instantly bursts out the tidal golden mist. This mist is like a sea breeze, a little bit wet, but it has a faint smell of sweet wine. This is not good, this damned thing can also eliminate true Yuan and origin Qi, I can't come out. Ghost raising jar flashed green, green-robed old man's surging sound just sounded, and suddenly panic disappeared. It was obvious that green-robed old man was just out of the way and was scared back. Ah! Seeing the golden yellow mist bursting instantly, the female body of the female cultivator trembled fiercely, and his face was pale without a trace of blood. The golden mist instantly wraps the entire five colors Jade Mountain, and its singular origin Qi makes everybody's skin look unspeakable. What the hell is this? Han Weiwei couldn't help but scream out a surging sound. Her Ti has just recovered some of the true Yuan, and it turned out to be a moment of silence. The golden yellow mist's melting effect on true Yuan is still above the heavenly dragon baleful aura. And in this golden misty package, she has a feeling of something wrong. What was wrong with her, but she couldn't feel it at all. It just seemed to have a feeling of tingling, and it could not be restrained from rising from her own heart. What exactly is this? Weisuo had a yin on his face and turned to ask the female cultivator next to him. The true Yuan in his Ti was once again in a moment, and the succubus deer that had once again fallen on the keel dust made him feel extremely dangerous. But with his sight, The female cultivator not only did not answer his words immediately, but instead stunned and trembled, unconsciously receding like a frightened deer. You are too small to see the strength of our high-level monster beast. Although your ancestors have left you with countless paths of cultivation, we also have a lot of things, and these cultivators are unmatched. Falling down on the succubus deer of the keel dust, he coughed gently and looked at Wei Suo with pride. You don't have to ask anyone, I will tell you what it is for. There is a wind attribute ancient heavenly dragon, named Kang Long. This heavenly dragon will be a strong Greece treasures wind attribute technique, but it is a bit indifferent, lonely, and has no interest in breeding offspring. If you follow this kind of heavenly dragon, I am afraid that the generation will be extinct. But when the dragon grows up, it will also be manifestation for a day of burning with the desire crystal, also called Yang Dragon Pouch. By the time of its adulthood, when the spirit is most vigorous, this thing will be opened by itself, so that the innocent and cold Kang Long is full of boundlessness, looking for a partner and breeding offspring. In order to prevent the cultivator from obstructing when it moves, this day, burning with the crystal of origin Qi, can also make the cultivator and other monster beast near it true UN and the demon element all turned into nothing, and will also lead the consequences that the cultivator and the monster beast that touched this origin Qi are also infinitely bound, and there is no self-extraction. What? As soon as he heard succubus deer, Wei Suo's face instantly became pale. At this moment, he also felt that an extremely strange feeling in Ti rose and he could not control it. The simplest thing to say, this kind of thing is the most powerful scene medicine. Succubus deer looks at Wei Suo and others, and his eyes are extremely embarrassing. Her gaze, swept from Wei Suo's, fell on her body, as if she was on the female cultivator that was drenched in the rain. From now on, you should be unable to control yourself, and you will be completely immersed here. Wei Suo, isn't there two of them that are your Dao companion? And this male cultivator, is he your friend? What do you mean by this? Hearing this sentence, Han Weiwei's naked body is also a fierce shake, the face of the white great treasure called a surging sound. What else can you mean? Succubus deer looks at Han Weiwei. If a friend is in front of you and your Dao companion dual cultivation intercourse, what do you think after you wake up? After a chuckling sound, succubus deer took a look at Han Weiwei and the female cultivator. Wait, you and he will also continue to build dual culture, maybe you and his dual cultivation, then Wei Suo dual cultivation is not necessarily. If you really want to know how, I can stay for a while, and then leave some handwriting in the secret place to tell you who you are with dual cultivation. No way. If this thing is the same as what you said, how could you not be affected? As soon as I heard the words of succubus deer, the faces of Jia and Nangong Yuking, Wei Suo and others all changed completely, and Han Weiwei could not help but scream. I said that we have high-level monster beast. There are also many things that you are unconcerned. My demon element is now gone, but the blood of our phoenix is unaffected by this kind of. Succubus deer smiled smugly and looked at Han Weiwei with a bad look. You see that I am now the real Blue Luan, the blood of the ancient phoenix, and whether this thing is the same as what I said, I should be clear about myself. I'll kill you for this. Han Weiwei has such a surging sound. But her naked body is shaking like a lotus leaf of water. Her teeth are playing slightly, her legs are tight, and they can't move. The delicate face, the stalks can't be said to be filled with blush. Wei Suo stepped out in a smug smile of succubus deer. His body was filled with the mighty killing intent, but at the moment his world seemed to be distorted, his divine consciousness seemed to be the strength of the great treasure. The pressure gathered on the side of Jia and Nangong Yuking. Kill me. Wei Suo, kill me. I will always be your person. Kill me and avenge me. Jia's consciousness is about to get lost. A hot stream seems to keep pouring in and out of her body, pushing her to Wei Suo, but at the moment, she only has a trace of clearness, but she is facing Wei Suo. Gave a surging sound to the gorgeous giant treasure. Kill me, Nangong Yuking also had such a surging sound at the same time, but her cultivation base is not as good as Jia, and her eyes are completely blurred. It was just this moment that Wei Suo had no movement at all. Wei Suo, one of his hands was pulled by Yin Liwa. Yin Liwa stood beside him, her shoulders shaking, and her hands were clutching Wei Suo's one hand tightly. Her hands were very hot, and her eyes seemed to drip out water. Her pair of filigree hands, with Wei Suo's hands sliding into her clothes, took the soft and delicate towering. The female cultivator's naked body is like a thunder attribute, and it trembles more intensely. Her eyes stayed on the rock in front of him, and she wanted to hit the rock on the front. But at this time, a surging sound lightly whistled. Just a glance, her naked body can't move. A delicate figure softly relied on Wei Suo's and grabbed Wei Suo's other hand. This delicate figure is divided into a sharp, slim waist and a grip, which outlines a perfect curve. It is Han Weiwei. Han Weiwei's desperate and helpless chill on her face has all disappeared. Her red burning with the lips of the screams is swaying, and the alum of the conversation seems to have a faint tear, flowing, shy, anxious and begging. The silver coat on her body has been untied halfway, a straight slender and half jade ball exposed, white dazzling. Wei Suo's hands, she was brought under her lower abdomen, she softly relied on Wei Suo's, as if breathing breathless, surging sound with a strange breathing surge sound. The mind of the female cultivator seems to be a surging sound, and all her sense of resistance disappeared at this moment, as if Wei Suo turned into a whirlpool of giant great treasure at this moment, sucking her to let her step. The step is close to the past. Really, who told you to kill me? Succubus deer saw that Jia and Nangong Yuking also hugged Wei Suo behind, twitching and stroking Wei Suo's every secret place. Her eyes are filled with the thrill of revenge, and she is very proud. How, but suddenly I saw the female cultivator. The succubus deer was incredibly angry and screamed and almost jumped up. The female cultivator has a flawed transparent sheen that disappears, and the shape of the naked body of he is changing. He is actually, this succubus deer looked at the changes in the female cultivator, and the great treasure brain was blank. At this time, a figure of dimly lit spirit light was suddenly appearing in front of her. You, what are you doing? Already a real Blue Luan's succubus deer suddenly reacted to what it was like, out of a surging sound and horrified scream. Oh, the figure of Yang Rougebird is pressed against the Blue Luan. Fighting last name help ah. Blue Luan struggled desperately, but at the moment she was hit hard, but she couldn't push Yang Rougebird at all. Quick stop, it's _crew_ first name _Commonwealth _26. A surging sound with a crying sound called surging sound, it immediately rang. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 598. Chapter 598 Has a man cry and cry? Said that you will be responsible for you. Why, still cry, then I will come again. A surging sound like a surging sound, and a surging sound that was sobbing and crying, and a slight surging sound, made Wei Suo stunned and woke up. Surrounded by a low and sweet breath, the golden mist over the entire five colors Jade Mountain has disappeared. Even the secret place, the heavenly dragon baleful aura on the plane of the grey ground has dissipated almost, very the obvious time has passed for a long time. True Yuan in Wei Suo Ti seems to have recovered a lot, but the whole consciousness is very lazy. It seems that there are too many transmissions of shapeshift great art. Divine consciousness is exhausted and just took a break and has not recovered. Come over. Ah. The wisdom is clear, just figured out the environment of the secret place. Wei Suo is like a shock, and the whole body is stiff, and even the breathing is stopped. At the moment, Wei Suo is the whole body, tightly holding two beautiful ladies who are also naked. These two equally naked ladies, one of them huddled behind their own like a kitten, is Yin Liwa. Her skin is smooth and supple, and a crisp breast is squeezed on the back of Wei Suo's, and the shape will make the people who see it feel hot. Another beautiful woman who is naked, jade naked body is extremely soft, and there is a little wet on the body. It seems that the sweat has not disappeared. This beautiful lady is Han Weiwei. I am actually with Han Weiwei. What makes Wei Suo's naked body stiff is that his two hands, one hand, are still caught on Han Weiwei's smooth white snow butt, and the other hand is holding one of Han Weiwei's. Han Weiwei on the white jade naked body, the secret place is a red palm print and a fingerprint, which are obviously traces of rough rubbing. And on her white butt, there is a trace of redness. There are also two close-knit women, who are also lying under Wei Suo's. Nangong Yuking's upper body of the shapeshift great art is still almost intact, but the hem of the shapeshift great art is all smashed up, and the seductive secret place has a thrilling trace. Jiya's shapeshift great art clothing is half masked, revealing a near normal jade naked body. Her noble and exquisite jade naked body also left a lot of savage traces, and at the moment she is using Wei Suo's great treasure as a pillow, sleeping very sweet, her seductive mouth, at 5 colors jade mountain under the brilliance of the light, some bright. If it is Jiya's like this in normal times, it is enough for Wei Suo to endure, and the blood of the beast is boiling. But when I saw another figure, Wei Suo's heart was unable to tell the grief at the moment, and wanted to directly kill him. This other figure is also under Wei Suo's. Now Wei Suo is slightly sideways, and this figure is squeezed between Wei Suo and Nangong Yuking. Some loose yellow robes also cover the great treasure half. The figure is slanted on Wei Suo's. This yellow robe is a female cultivator. When the female cultivator and Wei Suo came together, it was a yellow robe red face. Now the female cultivator is crowded between Wei Suo and Nangong Yuking, curled up against Wei Suo, and the front is tightly attached to Nangong Yuking. Now the two slender ones of the Nangong Yuking shapeshift great art are exposed to the outside, with a touch of horror on the body. Wei Suo is the last scene that I would like to see, stillborn. He and Nangong Yuking, even with Jiya, Han Weiwei, they, as soon as I saw the traces of Nangong Yuking and Jiya and Han Weiwei, Wei Suo felt that his chest was about to split. But as the mind became clearer and clearer, Wei Suo suddenly treasured his eyes, and the naked body was completely stiff. He is now part of himself, actually, unexpectedly so tightly embraced by the soft wet. He even has this female cultivator, secret place in the most intimate state of dual cultivation. Dear God! Wei Suo suddenly felt that the sky had fallen, and it was black in front of him, and a blood spurted out. He and Nangong Yuking, they are already the last thing he wants to see. Now he even has Wei Suo turned out to be a man. IDS_crew_ first name _Commonwealth _26. IDS_crew_ first name _Commonwealth _26. And now it's still. Wei Suo feels that he has never had fun in his life. He can completely die. His whole body and mind are convulsive, but at this time, it may be because he moved, but under the yellow robe a surging sound seems to be disturbed by sleep, and some slightly painful light surging sound. What happened? Wei Suo is a tight one. Did you hear the mistake? Because Wei Suo is clearly heard at this time, it is a surging sound of a surging sound, good sounding female cultivator. Let him once again great treasure eyes, he suddenly appeared, this yellow robe under the cover of the great treasure half of the figure, how can not seem to say the beauty, and the breath is completely different from before. This. Wei Suo shook his fingers a little, and Tru Yuan had no surging sound and pushed the yellow robe to the side. He was nervous and couldn't look at the scene under the yellow robe, but when the yellow robe was only opened a little, what he saw had already made his naked body stiff again, and his breathing stopped completely. Under the yellow robe, it is also an unparalleled absolute beauty female cultivator. The show of the absolute beauty female cultivator, like a waterfall, seems to be sleeping, some slightly painful, her pair of thin frowns slightly squatting. Her face cannot tell the exquisite beauty. Her jade naked body is perfect, but at the moment it is a naked body, as if it is afraid of being violated, but it is pressed by Wei Suo. The look on her face is a little scared, some expectation, and some confusion, just like the land that has just landed, and does not know the worldly fairy. This. And Wei Suo suddenly said that this color is not in the female cultivator under Jia, how to get familiar with it? So like a portrait, Shui Ling. This fundamentally unexpected change, Wei Suo couldn't help but feel a little tempered and shuddered. Because of Wei Suo's tremor, the frown cultivator's brow was another glimpse, and the eyes were a little confused. A pair of bright eyes, just right in front of Wei Suo. Ah! Under this, Wei Suo couldn't help but out of a surging sound, light surging sound. Ah! Old great treasure, are you awake? The surging sound of Yang Rouge bird came from the back of a secret place on the Five Colors Jade Mountain. The slight surging sound also paused. Old great treasure, you wake up and you will come. This great treasure home is not too interesting to see each other. Wait until you shout out, and you will come out. You, the fascinating female cultivator, is also obvious that the mind has not recovered. It is just a surprise. The subconscious is separate from Wei Suo, but her naked body is completely lazy and weak, but it is weakly twisted a few times. She also felt what it was like, and suddenly a surging sound was almost sobbing, and the face immediately filled with red clouds. Wei Suo also only thinks that divine soul is swaying. Some of the smell of this female cultivator seems to have some strange appeal to him, which makes him feel like he is not willing to leave the female cultivator. You were originally a female cultivator. Have you always relied on shapeshift great art to disguise men? At this point, he was just a little embarrassed and asked this sentence. The fascinating female cultivator is still not completely clear, but subconscious, nodded. She is a female cultivator. That being said, they are all being me. Originally, Wei Suo had been completely ruthless. This time, all the cockroaches in his heart were removed, giving him a feeling of being completely alive. At this moment, I can see the manners of Jia, Nangong Yuking, Yin Liwa, and Han Weiwei. How can he control it, and suddenly attack the female cultivator under him? Wei Suo, I don't want it. Wei Suo started the action. The female cultivator suddenly got a great treasure, and tried to resist it, but only for a while. She closed her eyes, a table of very secret places. There is also some awkward surging sound between the lips. Du Thui Isuo, I can't take it anymore, this will damage my future cultivation base. I don't know how long it took, the female cultivator was soft and had a surging sound. Ah! Nangong Yuking's surging sound exclaimed surging sound and immediately rang. She and Jia seem to be under the power of burning, and with the help of the day, the naked body force and the divine consciousness are extremely exhausted, and they are caught in a very sweet sleep, some surging sound, and will not wake up for a while. But as soon as Wei Suo invaded and Agrikai rushed, he woke up. Ah, Wei Suo, after a while, Nangong Yuking's forgiveness surging sound rang again. Ah! Han Weiwei's a surging sound suddenly rang again. Purple True Yuan's parcel, Wei Suo and Han Weiwei fit tightly together. Han Weiwei's eyes widened and he was looking at Wei Suo's eyes. Suddenly, two crystal teardrops rolled down from Han Weiwei's eyes. The effectiveness of this day burning with the crystal has not completely dissipated. With Han Weiwei's confrontation, Wei Suo, who was beginning to attack Han Weiwei, suddenly stood still and seemed to be washed by the cold water. He reacted at once. If it is in peacetime, even if it is such a scene, with his seeing lust, it is estimated that he will only find Ji Yahula immediately. He will never directly pick up Han Weiwei. Stinking rogue, pain. This time, Wei Suo's heart was a little trembling, and there was some slight remorse, but at this moment, Han Weiwei suddenly hugged him and wanted to bite him, but he seemed to be afraid of teeth being hurt. In general, I still bite him gently. This time, Wei Suo suddenly couldn't take it and acted. In fact, in Wei Suo's heart, I also always like intercourse Han Weiwei, otherwise I will not be so spoiled by her until she knows her from the beginning. Ah, stinking rogue. Han Weiwei's head was raised, and a blue silk was floating in the head. The god on her face was a little bit painful, but it seemed to be a little happy. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 599. Chapter 599 Disciplinary Daughter. Ah! Ah! On the Five Colors Jade Mountain, Jia and Yin Liwa's exclaiming surging sound rang again and again. But they are not the way Wei Suo wakes up that way. The burning effect of the crystal of the day when Wei Suo awakened Han Weiwei, almost completely disappeared. After this special effect completely disappeared, Wei Suo was in front of so many people, but there was no burning related with the same as the female cultivator and Nangong Yuking and Han Weiwei. Wei Suo helped Yin Liwa and Jia to wear shape-shift great art clothes, and then used True Yuan to separate two medicine pills that can warm divine consciousness, awakening Yin Liwa and Jia. At this time, the female cultivator is still wearing the yellow robe, but the face is gorgeous. She and Han Weiwei both bowed their heads and didn't speak, but she and Han Weiwei's pair of feet, but seemed to be somewhat uncontrollable, which made her and Han Weiwei's face a little blush. Nangong Yuking doesn't seem to be naked body like female cultivator and Han Weiwei, but she bit her lip and her face is hot. No explanation is needed. It is the burning pain in some places. Jia and Yin Liwa wake up and immediately understand what happened. It just what Jia and Yin Liwa couldn't understand was how the yellow robe's male cultivator became a female cultivator. This is not good. At this moment, Wei Suo, who was a bit embarrassed, suddenly reacted with something like it. The face of the great treasure changed and called a surging sound. What happened? Several female cultivators were suddenly shocked by the Wei Suo's reaction. Ghost raising jar is gone. Wei Suo looked extremely ugly and looked around. His ghost raising jar was previously on the chest, but now he is suddenly ghost raising jar is not on his own body. In retrospect, when he put on the shapeshift great art, he did not see ghost raising jar at all. Ghost raising jar is gone. How come? Han Weiwei and Jia and Nangong Yuking's face suddenly became white. They are very clear about the value of this ghost raising jar and green-robed old man. This sudden and amazing change made them forget the shame and embarrassment for a moment. How can I be in this treasure receiving pocket in the treasure receiving pocket? I saw Wei Suo's ugly face and groping, divine consciousness. After sweeping, his face was immediately loose, and some of them were surprised to take out a treasure receiving pocket and reached out, but took the black ghost raising jar. Come out. Wei Suo. I am doing your great treasure. Wei Suo just took the ghost raising jar out of the treasure receiving pocket, and green-robed old man immediately emerged from the ghost raising jar, glaring at Wei Suo. Wei Suo and several female cultivators are stunned, and I don't know how green-robed old man is so angry. What's the matter? After Wei Suo stunned, some inexplicably looked at green-robed old man. You still ask me what happened? I am doing your great treasure. You have been burning and with the crystals have been made, have been confused, and actually spelled with spiritual chi, the magic tree fragment, the point of True Yuan. I was included in treasure in the receiving pocket. Even if you put me outside, the burning chi that burned with the day of the day is so powerful, I don't necessarily dare to come out. You are all like this and you have to put me in the treasure receiving pocket. Are you still a person, and no one is seeing? Green-robed old man. At first glance, Wei Suo is very innocent, more angry and mad at the great treasure. Ah, Wei Suo was a bit dumbfounded. It turned out that I was losing consciousness, and when Han Weiwei started to get on the road, she actually squeezed a little bit of True Yuan to get ghost raising jar into her own treasure receiving pocket. Is this ghost raising jar actually collected by myself? Ahem, as soon as I reacted to this, Wei Suo was a little bit crying and laughing. It seems that this green-robed old man is too bad in his own impression. I actually remember to put ghost raising jar in this kind of lust. Several reactionary female cultivators suddenly appeared a bright red on their faces. They also understand what Wei Suo is about to put ghost raising jar together. You can do all of this and you can do it too. I am doing your great treasure. Green-robed old man was so angry that he couldn't help but groan. But at first glance at the female cultivator, the green-robed old man was suddenly shocked, and the incredible great treasure eyes. You are not the kid who used to be in Spirit Peak City. The water on the portrait, water. Listening to this green-robed old man, his reaction was extremely fast, and he reacted at once. This female cultivator was previously dressed as a man, but now I can see the face of this female cultivator, but he is thoroughly the shock has lived. Wei Suo is also a deep breath. When he looks at the face of the female cultivator, there is also a feeling that the world is shaking. If it was her, then it was too shocking for him. Yes, I am Shui Ling but the female cultivator glanced at him and green-robed old man, but nodded directly. Shui Ling. This name is true for Ji Ya and Nangong Yuking and others, and a huge mind directly blows up in their hearts. They certainly understand what the name represents. Shui Ling, the first beauty of heavenly profound continent, a popular young cultivator. True martial sect young master Su Xuanhuan's fiancé. The dream lust, the cultural goal when he was a low-level small rogue cultivator in Spirit Peak City. Now I am living in front of myself, and I am also with myself naked body dual cultivation. Wei Suo, although seeing the true face of this female cultivator, has vaguely felt the true identity of this female cultivator, but at the moment she heard her personally admit that Wei Suo still has some thunder and unbelievable feelings. Sorry, I have been cheating you. Shui Ling, who is wearing a regular white great treasure male cultivator, is still looking at Wei Suo, and some apologetic low surging sound. Since you are Shui Ling, why is Lin Taixu going to kill you, and using the water attribute shapeshift great art of the great treasure to deal with you, almost crashing your golden core? Wei Suo had some complex look at this familiar and unfamiliar female cultivator. This female cultivator is the object of countless cultivators. In the eyes of Wei Suo, it is heaven's proud daughter. He never imagined that such a female cultivator would come to his side. Because I suddenly don't want to accept the arbitrarily, starting from the path of cultivation, I can't deviate in one step according to the arrangement of Mystic Wind sect and my master. I have never had the chance to choose what I have to do, even if I want to marry true martial sect young master Su Jianhuan this time. Shui Ling lowered her head. Even in the eyes of many of our Mystic Wind sects, I am just a vase, just to attract more natural talents. The cultivator joins Mystic Wind sect and becomes Mystic Wind section disciple. And I have no shapeshift great art to go to the intercourse who. And in order to maintain the identity of such a vase, I can't flow revelations to anyone's favor, lest others think that I already have a heart. I have no friends in Mystic Wind section, even the residence is in a separate hall. You are escaping from Mystic Wind section. Wei Suo took a deep breath and determined his judgment. Sect like Mystic Wind sect, the alert must be extremely strict, and how can you escape from such an identity? Nangong Yuking couldn't help but look at Shui Ling. Because I have always been doing according to the meaning of Mystic Wind sect, there has never been any deviation, any defiance. I will never think about it, my heart will actually defy, so Mystic Wind sect I have no precautions against me. I naturally feel that I will accept the arrangement as before. Even I don't even know it. Why can't I run out? Shui Ling's pretty face can't be said to be pure, but at the moment, the good-looking mouth is a bitter god lust. Mystic Wind sect came to the heavenly profound continent northern part with so many high-level cultivators, it turned out to be trying to catch you back. Wei Suo couldn't help but smile. It seems that he is too much to see himself. Lin Taixu and Mystic Wind sect are so many people. The main thing is not to deal with him, but to deal with Shui Ling Er. My naked body is very special, it is the legendary Water Mother Holy Body, there is a secret place for the cultivation base great treasure of the cultivator. Shui Ling Er pure water spirit has a blush on his face. It may be because there is very little contact with the outside world, or even very little with the cultivator. Her age, style, and feeling between talking are even smaller than Han Weiwei. When it comes to the cultivator's cultivation base great treasure, there is a secret place, her surging sound is unconsciously low, and some are swallowed and very shy. But then, her eyes are full of a very dignified and serious look, now I secret place child, if it is known by my master, he must not let you off. Is there a secret place for the cultivation base great treasure of the cultivator? Hearing the phrase female cultivator, Wei Suo suddenly took a look at inner vision. His eyes flashed violently in a few moments, and the reveals were extremely shocked and unbelievable. It is obvious that his inner vision is an amazing change in some places. But after he took a deep breath, he didn't mention this point first, but his eyes flashed a strange look. Yang Rouge Bird, what are you doing? You can come out. Okay, old great treasure, come out. Nothing, I just want to discipline my mother. Yang Rouge Bird's surging sound was uploaded. Immediately, green-robed old man couldn't help but swallow, and like a ghost, he saw Yang Rouge Bird flying from the back of a dragon, and the succubus deer. Blue Luan, behind it, a pair of ticks, wanting to cry and not crying. Wife, what is going on here? It also made Wei Suo a bit dumbfounded, because he felt it before, this succubus deer was subdued by Yang Rouge Bird, but he did not expect that Yang Rouge Bird would say this. And now that Blue Luan is behind him, it really looks like a disciplinary woman who is obedient. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 600. Chapter 614 Redefining Golden Core. Shua. 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 Jia and others swept out, and the entire quiet room was left with the surging sound of Wei Suo origin chi scouring and spitting. In Wei Suo's Ti, countless water spirit yuan chi rushed through the level 5 low-grade water attribute monster core that he swallowed. The whole condensed monster core is almost directly washed away, like a piece of jade, but it is instantly washed into a coral reef full of holes. The Great Treasure Group of the Great Treasure Group's origin chi directly collapsed and scattered. And these origin chi, but directly washed out by water spirit yuan chi from Ti. Immediately, the useful origin chi, however, was again sucked into the Ti and turned into true yuan. This is really like a long whale that absorbs water. Wei Suo's heart, rising to feel like this. The giant whales in the sea swallowed fish and shrimps, and they all sucked in the water. They inhaled the sea of great treasure, then spit out the sea water, leaving all the small fish and shrimp in the sea water in the mouth and swallowing. Now his feeling of cultivation is like every capillary in his body, like a giant whale in the sea. Pa. It was only a moment, and the level 5 low-grade water attribute monster core that was swallowed was completely dissipated and turned away. When this monster core was completely refining, Wei Suo went to the cultivation base of the heavenly circuit realm 4th layer. With his true yuan power at the moment, it is only a small part of the powerful energy of heaven overflowing river scroll, but this moment of monster core refining, the storage bracelet on Wei Suo's hand is magnificent light flashes, a giant treasure the white cheekbones were taken out by him. The bones are as white as jade, scattered with unimaginable wild and ancient atmosphere. Some white dust formed by bones falls on this bone. The skeleton that Wei Suo took out at the moment is the 3 broken heavenly dragon skeletons obtained at Dragon Burial Mound. This skeleton has only 2/3 of the shape, and the tail and limbs have all been weathered and turned into dust. Kaka a surging sound, 2 white giant jade giant treasure ribs, folded by Wei Suo's true yuan. The time of this heavenly dragon skeleton is too long, and some joints are connected to the secret place, which has become fragile and decaying. Hong. The two ribs, which were even more than Weisuo's giant treasure, were immediately rolled over to the head of Weisuo's, and on the top of Weisuo's, a group of origin chi was immediately squirting, and the two ribs were swallowed. Shua. Shua. Oh. A stock of water spirit Yuan Qi, continually washed on these two white jade keels. At the same time, Wei Suo's naked body, suspended in the air, placed a dragon in the air, and there was a dragon in the body. Qi. 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 A fascinating origin Qi was washed out from the numerous pores of Wei Suo's naked body. At the same time, Wei Suo's naked body surface also showed numerous stars. Water Emperor Sun Swallowing Secrets is the supreme classic of ancient Three Sovereigns sect, Heavenly Dragon Star Body Tempering Technique, the strongest book of ancient Cloud Realm section. Whether it's ancient Three Sovereigns sect or Cloud Realm sect with little Heavenly Realm, the status of ancient cultivation world is today's true martial sect. Su Xuanhuan, although you are the young master of true martial sect, the precious to birth has an amazing great treasure library, but I got the inheritance of these two sects, plus Dragon Burial Mount Keel, Longden, I have accumulated to the great treasure library, you can't compare it. Even if I kill Xuanhui Reverend, Coiling Dragon Reverend, it is also your deception, not to put me at all, this time I must let you see, so compelling too much, what is the end? With Wei Suo's cultivation base at the moment, if refining origin Chi's amazing heavenly dragon skeleton and heavenly dragon monster core, the radical heavenly flowing river scroll powerful energy is not enough, and the origin Chi in the TI is too big, and can't be washed out. On the contrary, it will suffer, but this heavenly dragon skeleton is very decaying, and its origin Chi is limited, but it can just be refining. And with heavenly dragon cultivation, washed out, Water Emperor Sun Swallowing Secrets without shapeshift great art absorbed some heavenly dragon origin Chi, but just can use heavenly dragon star body tempering technique refining. Kaka. It was only a moment, two white jewels, all of which were turned into dust, collapsed and scattered. Wei Suo did not stop, but folded three keels and rolled them over the head. Pu. This time, when the three keels origin Chi were all washed out and turned into white dust, Wei Suo's body once again revealed a dazzling divine sea brilliance. Heavenly Circuit Realm 5th Layer. A breakthrough to the Heavenly Circuit Realm 5th Layer, Wei Suo also refining the keel more, directly from the broken heavenly dragon shin bone from the half, soaked in the top of the head, washed away. Hong. 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 The treasure of the great treasure group, the water spirit Yuan Qi, was swallowed into Wei Suo's Ti and turned into a true Yuan. At the same time, the heavenly dragon origin Qi of a giant treasure, also in Wei Suo's more than 10,000 positions, into astral origin Qi, tempered. Wei Suo's breath, non-stop Pongra treasure, his Ru body, non-stop congeal. There are countless pores on his body, and the degree of vomiting and inoculation of origin Qi is getting faster and faster, and it is getting more and more amazing. A group of dazzling divine sea brilliance blooms on Wei Suo's Thought Division Realm 1st Layer. Thought Division Realm 2nd Layer. At the time of the Thought Division Realm 2nd Layer, the broken heavenly dragon skeleton had been swallowed up and turned into dust. Wei Suo took another wreck of water attribute heavenly dragon. This time, Wei Suo rolled up the incomplete heavenly dragon skeleton, and at the same time, several water attribute monster cores from the secret place young people, kept on investing, by the way refining. Originally with his cultivation base at the moment, and the powerful energy of heaven overflowing river scroll, or the shapeshift great art to wash such a great treasure of origin Qi, but his Ru body, compared to the ordinary cultivator, do not know how many times the strong great treasure. Even if there were some unfavorable origin Qi, it was not washed out in time, causing some damage in his Ti, and it was immediately repaired by Qi and blood of the great treasure. The current Wei Suo is to thoroughly pursue the degree of culture. At the same time, the pain of the quenched body of the culture heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, coupled with the pain of this Ru body injury, repairs the pain, but instead makes his spiritual will, further tempering, brave and intensive momentum, in his body outside, it is like forming the essence. Thought Division 3. Thought Division 4. Wei Suo's cultivation base is as high as it is to be crossed. Wei Suo's cultivation base has reached the Thought Division realm 4th layer when all the missing heavenly dragon shins and several water attribute monster cores from the secret place young people are all refining. A heavenly dragon monster core with a giant treasure, rises from Wei Suo's hand. This heavenly dragon monster core is also the 7 heavenly dragon monster core on Wei Suo's hand. It is the oldest and the Dan Yuan is the most powerful. But even so, the heavenly dragon monster core's water spirit Yuan Qi and heavenly dragon origin Qi are not comparable to the broken heavenly dragon skeleton. This heavenly dragon monster core was immediately swallowed up by the amazing origin Qi of the great treasure stock of the giant treasure of Wei Suo. Boom. 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 Wei Suo's face has a more painful look, and his naked body has numerous star-like spots on his skin that seem to burn. But the breadth of his body is a further astonishing climb. Pu. Just as the heavenly dragon monster core was a little more than a third of the great treasure, Wei Suo's once again had a dazzling divine sea brilliance. Thought Division Realm 5th layer. Golden core. Golden core. Golden core. But Wei Suo didn't stop at all, and the will of a strong great treasure dissipated from him. Water spirit Yuan Qi, a more powerful treasure, kept rushing up. What happened? How did Wei Suo's cultivation stop? Don't he? Suddenly, Shui Ling Yin Liwa and Ji Ya, Nangong Yuking and Han Wei in other quiet rooms all paused. Because they suddenly felt that the original room of Wei Suo's quiet room was constantly surging sound and the surging sound was all gone, and it was quiet in an instant. So fast. Golden core. He has already completed the late stage of the Thought Division 5th layer and is ready to hit the golden core. So many spiritual stones. It's only half a day, this degree of cultivation. Ji Ya and Shui Ling and others all plunged into the door of Wei Suo's quiet room, and as soon as they saw the scene of Wei Suo quiet room, their eyes suddenly filled with a shocking look. At this moment, all the scattered and complicated origin Qi of this quiet room has been completely washed out by Wei Suo with the water spirit Yuan Qi of heaven overflowing river scroll. The whole quiet room is extremely pure. This quiet room has been laid out by Wei Suo with the restrictions that isolates the outside of origin Qi. The entire quiet room is full of spiritual stones. The number of spiritual stones is at least a few million, piled up, and Wei Suo is now sitting on the spiritual stones heap. On Wei Suo's body, the transparent origin Qi, which is visible in the RUIs, reveals the incomprehensible feeling of lightness. This kind of scene is obviously that Wei Suo is about to prepare to hit golden core. From the very beginning, cultivation water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets has only been a half day. For half a day, from the cultivation base that is not available at level 1 Divine Sea stage, directly to prepare for the impact of golden core, the degree of this kind of culture, whoever sees it, must be completely crazy. He is going to core formation right now, let's not disturb him. Shui Ling immediately felt that a strong great treasure was brewing out of Wei Suo's Ti. With a horrified expression on her face, she reached for a stroke and added a transparent water mask to Wei Suo outside Wei Suo's restrictions. Boom. Almost just between the fingers, on Wei Suo's, there was an unimaginable astounding glow, rushing upwards, even through the thick layers of soil, all the way up. At the same time, Wei Suo's naked body was suspended and formed a dragon shape. On his naked body, there seemed to be a lot of passages in the moment. Outside his body, he formed a ring of amazing whirlwinds, forming a violent airflow. Under his pile of spiritual stones, he was drawn with numerous spiritual Qi visible in the eyes. Hong. A strong great treasure and the ultimate pressure and spiritual Qi, scattered from Wei Suo's, At the same time, this pressure and spiritual chi is still growing. Kaka, in Wei Suo's Ti, it seems to have become a bottomless pit at the moment. It is desperately sucking around the spiritual chi. Even the wonderful tree fragments in Wei Suo Ti are flowed by the amazing chi and blood and spiritual chi. Fragment of surging sound. Xiaoguang rushed, golden core formed. His golden core, condensed. As soon as I saw this scene, Ji Ya and Shui Linger and others knew that Wei Suo cultivation water emperor sun swallowing secrets and golden core had been re-established. The only thing I don't know now is his golden core. How amazing will it be? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 601. Chapter 601 has no restrictions. Up. This is completely over. At the beginning of the harvest of Dragon Burial Mound, green-robed old man could not help but smash. The harvest in this Dragon Burial Mound is really amazing. 13 pieces, a total of 13 complete water attribute heavenly dragon skeletons. Every complete water attribute heavenly dragon skeleton is white and jade, with a strong great treasure and a clear spirit. Many white heavenly dragon bones are condensed with dewdrops, crystal clear. In addition to the 13 complete heavenly dragon skeletons, there are 3 more or less weathered and crippled heavenly dragon skeletons. The body of these 3 heavenly dragon skeletons is filled with an endless vicissitude. So many water attribute heavenly dragon bones, some long have lost spiritual chi, turned into dust, but it still has 7 heavenly dragon monster core, almost intact. The entire 5 colors Jade Mountain, which is the jade of heavenly dragon blood condense, was also cut and included in the treasure receiving pocket. The above-mentioned red great treasure stone texture of the heavenly dragon crystal fruit, a total of more than 90. In addition to Dragon Burial Mound, the fruit that can't be found anywhere else, according to the classics, like pure void vine, can be a great treasure divine mystic shapeshift great art. Only the ancient heavenly dragon is extinct, and Wei Suo can no longer get dragon blood. These heavenly dragon crystal fruits are also no longer cultivated by shapeshift great art, only all collected. 7 almost perfect heavenly dragon monster cores, suspended in front of Wei Suo's, with a ray of sunshine. These 7 ancient heavenly dragon monster core, the smallest have watermelon-like great treasure, the most great treasure and even the face-like great treasure, so that you can't help but feel awe. You can imagine having this kind of what is the Ponte great treasure of monster core's heavenly dragon. The monster core of the 7 water attribute heavenly dragons are also white and have a transparent brilliance on the surface. The surface of the monster core is very smooth, unlike the cultivator's golden core, it has many textures, but inside, there are countless brilliances of brilliance, like countless stars. That's awesome. How many water elements is origin chi in the monster core of this ancient heavenly dragon? Han Weiwei looked at the 7 Ponte Grey Treasures heavenly dragon monster core and couldn't help but say. Originally with her heart seeing, she must have to take a look at it. But now the breath of the 7 heavenly dragon monster core is a bit difficult for her to breathe, and each dragon feels like she has endless great treasure sea condense, so that she has to produce it was sucked in and drowned in it. Divine might of heavenly dragon is really unimaginable. The golden core of the ordinary cultivator is just like a jumbled egg. Wei Suo couldn't help but have such a surging sound. Wei Suo, that water emperor sun swallowing secrets, have you remembered all? Jiya's face is a touch of blush, glamorous and not square. Pain in some places, and the void of the yin element in Ti, also reminded her of the role of burning in the day before, and Wei Suo's madness. Jiya's words are exported, and everyone's eyes are all gathered on Wei Suo's. Before the heavenly dragon baleful aura came in, Wei Suo remembered it, but the moment was too late to comprehend, and then it immediately fell into the role of burning and with the help of the crystal, and did not know Wei Suo I still can't remember it at the moment. If Water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets is not recorded in the supreme classics of ancient Three Sovereigns sect, then for Wei Suo and others, these 7 heavenly dragon monster cores are simply useless, and only those who are useful are water attribute heavenly dragon. The cheekbones are gone. Because there is no Water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets, these heavenly dragon monster cores don't have shapeshift great art refining at all, let alone the water spirit Yuan Qi, which is transformed by astral origin Qi into origin Qi, without the use of shapeshift great art. Water attribute heavenly dragon skeleton, you can also use the heavenly dragon star body tempering technique to use its origin Qi by smashing, but the heavenly dragon monster core is not forced by shapeshift great art, otherwise it is likely to be like golden core. The same explosion came. The world is really water, all for me. I saw Wei Suo's brow jump, and immediately reached out and took out a note of the blue note, sinking, his eyes flashing. Upon seeing him, Ji Ya and others immediately stopped talking. They could see that Wei Suo was reminiscing about every item of Water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets, and was afraid of forgetting or having any omissions. Content, first recorded in this note blue. There is nothing to omit, I remember all. After a short period of time, Wei Suo nodded and gave the confidence of a strong great treasure, watching Ji Ya and Nangong Yuking and others. All remembered, then you will refining these heavenly dragon monster cores. Hearing Wei Suo, Han Wei suddenly exclaimed a surging sound. Although the origin Qi of these heavenly dragon monster cores is more or less lost, the origin Qi of the heavenly dragon monster core is definitely extremely terrifying, and from the previous secret place young people refining heavenly dragon monster core side and Wei Suo against the lust of the enemy, the degree of this Water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets refining is also very amazing. That way, Wei Suo doesn't say that it is possible to break through the first layer cultivation base and directly break through the second layer or even the third layer cultivation base. The tree seems beautiful in a forest but is easily toppled by the wind. Fish flood dragon turns into dragon, heaven must be, it would not be impossible to get this Lin Fenghua to get the entire dragon burial mound and quickly break into divine mystic realm. This is really like the ancient heavenly dragon and the truth that I said, if a person is too violent, the sky will drop the disaster. If it's not that this person is too sharp, I don't want to deal with it in Cloud Spirit Continent. If I didn't get ruined by me, I'm afraid to practice all the way. Even if I just enter Dragon Burial Mound today, it's not necessarily his opponent. After Wei Suo said this, he looked at the exclaimed Han Wei. But this work, Shapeshift Great Art wants culture, there is still a great treasure limit. What are the limitations of great treasure, what are the restrictions? Han Wei and Ji Ya are both frowning and can't help but say this. When the two said this sentence at the same time, the two men's faces could not help but a slight red. You will know when you look at it. Wei Suo reached out and pointed Cyan Jade Talisman to Han Wei and Ji Ya. At the same time, his eyes flashed. It was obvious that he was riding the iron and was comprehending the ancient Three Sovereign Sect's supreme Gong shapeshift great art. What restrictions? Let me see. Han Wei and Ji Ya were a little embarrassed at the moment, waiting for the other to see first, but green-robed old man was not so polite. Seeing Han Wei and Ji Ya, green-robed old man said directly after the sentence, divine consciousness immediately went in. To water spirit root male cultivator, to abolish the cultivation base, recultivation. Also have the my attribute rank of the water attribute shapeshift great art great treasure to cultivation. But after divine consciousness had seen it, green-robed old man couldn't help but scream. What? When I heard green-robed old man's surging sound, Ji Ya's face was slightly over, but I couldn't help but check it out with divine consciousness. Is this shapeshift great art actually having such a limitation? Then, after Han Wei saw it, he couldn't help but screamed extremely depressed. There are such restrictions, and just a few words, even if you didn't read this book, Nangong Yuking and others, they all understand. The original shapeshift great art is not the same as the heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, but the standard true UN masterpiece. In other words, if Wei Suo wants to make this Water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets, then you must abandon the current cultivation base to recultivation the Water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets. Now Wei Suo is already the cultivation base of the Golden Core second layer. To abandon the cultivation base and recultivation, the cost is really amazing. And this work, Shapeshift Great Art, and Water Spirit Roots Male Cultivator can be used for cultivation. No wonder that ancient Three Sovereign sect doesn't have any female cultivator, and has such a strong great treasure, Shapeshift Great Art, and finally disappeared into the cultivation world. It's just a cultivator of Water Spirit Root, it's very rare, not many in 100 years, not to mention the male cultivator, which is doomed to the three great sovereign sects' most powerful great treasure Water Emperor heritage. It is difficult to find the number of disciple, and disciple is certainly very rare. At this point, it is limited to the presence of the female cultivator, which cannot be used as the Shapeshift Great Art, but there is no limit to Wei Suo. Wei Suo is now the amazing 5 Spirit Root cultivator, and it has a Water Spirit Root. Even in the future, Wei Suo cultivation Immortal Root 5 secrets, it is irrelevant to form Immortal Spiritual Roots, because Immortal Spiritual Roots is also equitably coupled to these spiritual roots. Advanced generation and natural talent is even more amazing. The other real limitation of Shapeshift Great Art is that there is also a mystic rank Water attribute Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure that can wash the body. Because Water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets, this work Shapeshift Great Art is incomparable high-handed, is directly origin all kinds of materials containing water element refining chi, no matter what origin chi, all swallowed in Ti, and then relied on Shapeshift Great Art, Ti Water Spirit Un Chi and Water Attribute Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure Water Spirit Un Chi scouring, will be detrimental to origin chi all washed out naked body, useful origin chi to stay, in Ti, Ascension Cultivation Base. Many of the origin chi, the potency, and the material have a great treasure damage to the naked body of the cultivator, so only Water Spirit Un Chi of the Water Attribute Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure of Mystic rank has enough power. Cooperate with the Society of Shapeshift Great Art. Otherwise, many unfavorable origin chi and modeled impurities can't be washed out, and they are deposited in the naked body. I don't think it will take long for the collapse to be necrotic and necrotic. Mystic ranks Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure is hard to find, especially the specific mystic rank Water Attribute Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure. Even if it takes decades, it may not be found. That's not easy to get the job, Shapeshift Great Art, not yet to be useless. After Han Weiwei and Nangong Yuking and others explained a few words, they said this sentence with depression. She is very clear, Wei Suo's Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure Heaven Overflowing River Scroll, although it is also such a Water Attribute Shapeshift Great Art Great Treasure, but its powerful energy distance mystic level is still a great treasure distance, to be normal relying on the nourishment of Golden Core powerful energy to the powerful energy of the mystic level. I am afraid it will not be possible for decades. It really didn't work. It really is that the Shapeshift Great Art is going to be at least a few decades, but it's different now. Wei Suo's violent flash of his eyes stopped at this time, and it is obvious that he has already learned how to make Shapeshift Great Art. At this time, when he heard the words of Han Weiwei, he looked at Han Weiwei, smiled and said something like this, and then his eyes stopped on Shui Ling. At the same time, a surging sound of boom, his eyebrows shot 1,000 purple rays, and his golden core was sacrificed. This, at a glance, the golden core from Wei Suo, not to mention the green-robed old man, even Jia and Nangong Yuking, are instantly great treasure eyes, some incredibly surprised by a surging sound. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 602. Chapter 602 is not allowed to be more. Wei Suo's purple golden core sunlight is a four-shot wave of strong great treasure. From the outside, there is no obvious change in the great treasure. But Wei Suo now has the water spirit chi around this golden core, but it is full of rich, transparent water patterns, which are faintly formed into a lotus-like shape. Immediately, Wei Suo's shapeshift great art great treasure heaven overflowing river scroll rose from golden core sunlight. The color of heaven overflowing river scroll was blue-white, but now, this long scroll-shaped shapeshift great art great treasure is almost pure white, and the scroll on the white rune is a stream of transparent ribbons. Water Spirit Yuan Qi. A stock of great treasures spiritual qi fluctuates and continually oscillates from heaven overflowing river scroll. Obviously, this heaven overflowing river scroll is now powerful energy, far more than mystic rank. What's going on, Wei Suo? How can you improve the powerful energy of heaven overflowing river scroll? The green-robed old man was more aware of Wei Suo's cultivation base, and he was well aware of the secret water why after the physical collapse of the God Spirit Place Youth, and the opening of the few transparent men. Yuan Qi, although it was Shui Ling Er with strong great treasure of the Operation Shapeshift Great Art Adsorption, but later also was Heavenly Dragon, baleful aura dispersed, equivalent to the white loss. Wei Suo is not absorbed at all, it is impossible to promote heaven overflowing river energy. Died when seeing Wei Suo's eyes staying on Shui Ling Ji Ya and others were unable to move. Shui Ling pure jade face is red, but looking at Wei Suo's inquiring look, she shyly bowed her head, but her face showed an unusually solemn lust. It's because of my relationship she raised her head again, and some bravely faced some serious things like lust, watching Wei Suo nod. My water mother holy body, plus my work, shapeshift great art is unique, so the first one gets my secret place, I get the cultivator of Yin Yuan, and I get the water treasure origin Qi. Even the worst cultivator of natural talent can even condense water spirit root directly into the water spirit root cultivator. And I am the water element origin Qi, you can go straight through the golden core, so your life, shapeshift great art great treasure, powerful energy will have such a change. That wouldn't be equivalent to your first dual cultivation's Deo companion will get you a lot of cultivation base? Is it similar to a sly mother? Yang Rougebird heard Shui Ling say so, couldn't help but great treasure eyes, said such a sentence. The shapeshift great art I have done is called 3000 feeble rivers every 10% of my cultivation, I will have 30% of the water spiritual qi is stored in my yin yuan this part is like being repaired for others it's a wedding dress, so in the eyes of some mystic wind sect, I'm a vase, and that's the cultivator like Su Xuanhuan, who really wants to get me the real reason Shui Ling nodded and his eyes looked a little dazed. 3000 feeble rivers, this is the ancient shape's great art of ancient Chen Shui. It seems that this mystic wind sect is a lot of things from the ancient Chen Shui. She is actually doing this kind of work, shapeshift great art, it is really cheap. Green-robed old man secretly slammed a surging sound. Is this not equivalent to a 30% cultivation base? Yin Liwa couldn't help but take a look at Shui Ling. Although Shui Ling has been famous for its great treasure in recent years, Yin Liwa can see that the real age of Shui Ling is similar to that of Han Weiwei. Moreover, based on the true UN strength of Shui Ling before Shapeshift Great Art's Shapeshift Great Art, the 3000 feeble rivers Shapeshift Great Art is at least the heaven level's work Shapeshift Great Art. At this age, culture's level of work, Shapeshift Great Art, has already built golden core, which is already amazing. But listening to Shui Ling if she is not the Shapeshift Great Art of culture, she can at least improve her cultivation base by more than 30%. This shows that Shui Ling's cultural qualification is indeed amazing. But such natural talents are just the pieces of Mystic Wind sect, and the true strength and heritage of this type of sect of Mystic Wind sect can be imagined for thousands of years. This kind of work shapeshift great art? Isn't that the next time if dual cultivation, equivalent to cultivation, the 30% of origin chi, will still transition to the old great treasure? It seems that this is not the same thing as the ant's wife. Yang Rougebird stayed in bed and said it was so straightforward. As soon as I heard Yang Rougebird say this, Shui Ling's face suddenly became red. In fact, some of her places can now be swollen. It's really cheap for you. Yin Liwa gave Wei Suo a white look. Ahem, Wei Suo has some awkward dry cough with two surging sounds. I want to leave you, but at this time, Shui Ling looked at Wei Suo deeply and said so surely. Why, Wei Suo and others are a glimpse, and green-robed old man can't help but ask for it. True martial sect is definitely a good secret place for mystic wind sect, very great treasure, otherwise my master will not promise to marry me to Su Xuanhuan. If I am with you, I am now lost by primordial yin. He definitely not let you off. Shui Linger's face has become slightly white. And then if you are caught, death is to die one, you will not say that I am right. Wei Suo looked at this beautiful woman who had just come to the world and immediately shook his head. What jokes do you make? Can you be irresponsible when you finish playing me? Dang dang. Yang Rougebird and green-robed old man and Ji Ya almost all fell directly to the ground. Han Weiwei looking at Wei Suo, it is completely speechless. If you want to face it, can you say such a thing? This kind of thing is lust. Obviously he is finished playing, the result is also that Shui Linger has finished playing with him. Shui Linger's original pale face suddenly became red, and she was also a lust that was scared by Wei Suo's, but her a pair of alums, but there was another kind of fog like rain. Also like the wind, like the god lust. Don't be me, I tell you, this must be responsible. However, Wei Suo directly interrupted her words. The face that was originally a rogue face showed an unprecedented arrogance. The confidence of a strong great treasure was scattered from Wei Suo's. And you think about it, I got the shapeshift great art like Water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets, and got the dragon burial mound, so much to great treasure. In time, even mystic wind sect doesn't have to be too taboo. Shui Ling Zhang great treasure eyes, can't speak again. Green-robed old man and Yang Rougebird looked at her with a squint and thought she would say something more, but what green-robed old man and Yang Rougebird didn't think was, then Shui Ling did not say anything, just looked at Wei Suo and nodded without surging sound. Wei Suo, then you said, are we all responsible for you? Now that Wei Suo has picked things up, Han Weiwei simply went out and looked at Wei Suo with some gnashing teeth. Of course, if you still want to finish playing, you won't count, but I didn't expect Wei Suo to look good at bullying, but sometimes it's really not a thick skin. Hearing Han Weiwei, Wei Suo immediately became serious and nodded honestly. Han Weiwei couldn't stand it anymore, and he almost fainted. Do you want me to be responsible for you? When I heard Wei Suo say that, on the face of Yin Liwa, there is also a strange god lust. Of course I think I should be responsible. Wei Suo nodded and looked at Yin Liwa. If you don't want to be responsible, then I really don't have shapeshift great art. Yin Liwa took a deep look at Wei Suo for a while, and her eyes also rose to a strange look. 5. So much is responsible for you. However, Ji Ya and others who looked around the body, Yin Liwa did not say anything else. On her face, she rose up with a smile of admiration. Little bad guys, you are too powerful. Look at him, maybe you can't wait 6 or 7, when I heard Yin Liwa say that Han Weiwei's face was red, she couldn't help but heavily slammed a surging sound. How? Wei Suo immediately called. You can't manage it anymore. Yin Liwa smiled and saw Ji Ya and others. The 5 are almost the same. I said to them for Ji Ya. In the future, only 5 can be allowed. The 6th and 7th are not allowed. No guarantee, no guarantee. Wei Suo nodded immediately. At this time, it is really a little bit sorrowful in his heart, and a little vanity to get the satisfaction of the great treasure. It's a shame that he's not the kind of greedy erotic, just Ji Ya and Nangong looking, he's already feeling like a wife, and he's asking for it. Although in fact, he was a little subtle with Han Weiwei at the beginning, Ji Ya was only a latecomer, but if this is not the case, because of Ji Ya's relationship, with him and Han Weiwei's temper, 2 people it may still be the same. Although Shui Linger is his dream lust in Spirit Peak City, Yin Liwa is also very charming, but he usually has nothing to think about. If it is normal intercourse, even Shui Linger's identity is clear. It is very likely that it will only be a good friend relationship. He never thought about it, it would be like this 5. But these 5 beautiful ladies have become his Deo companion, and his vanity is of course satisfied by the great treasure, especially Xuanhuan, but he still wants to set up shapeshift great art to deal with him, and Xuanhuan I also want to sue Shui Ling but now Shui Ling has become his Deo companion. This made Wei Suo think of it, there is a feeling of refreshment that can't be said. However, for Wei Suo, he is naturally not responsible for Shui Ling in order to retaliate against Su Jianhuan. For him, since this has happened, he must at least give each other Deo companion's name, at least to protect them from harm as much as possible. You are determined to abandon the previous cultivation base, recultivation water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets. Wei Suo's eyes were just a glimmer of light, but Shui Ling immediately felt the general, her crystal clear eyes, and a touch of moving look. Her eyes were gathered on the golden core and Changhe sunset rolls from Wei Suo, and she asked seriously. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 603. Chapter 603 Ghosts Change. Shui Ling the sentence was exported. Everyone present, except Wei Suo, was shocked. Recultivation shapeshift great art, it is too much to deal with great treasure. Many cultivators, even if they get a better work than shapeshift great art rank, they will not choose recultivation. That is because all the cultivation base is abandoned. Recultivation, I don't know how much time it takes. A cultivation base, paying for water, many people are reluctant. Especially the higher level cultivator, the less likely it is to choose recultivation shapeshift great art. Basically, the cultivator above the golden core, the chance of recultivation shapeshift great art is even smaller. Because of the general cultivator, it doesn't matter how many years it takes to repair the golden core. If you abandon your golden core cultivation base and start cultivation from scratch, you may not be able to rebuild the golden core. Yes, I just want to discard the previous cultivation base, recultivation water Emperor Sun swallowing secrets. Wei Suo nodded when he heard the question of female cultivator. Kid, you now have golden core second layer cultivation base, even if you don't recultivation shapeshift great art, then continue with culture heaven dragon body tempering technique, golden core will be even more treasure. Golden core powerful energy will not lose heaven level top rank is the golden core powerful energy of shapeshift great art. Green robed old man squinted and said, surging sound. When it comes to this crucial issue, he is also thoroughly serious. Old man, of course you are right. However, heavenly dragon star body tempering technique and water emperor sun swallowing secrets are not in conflict. Wei Suo looked at green-robed old man and seriously discussed it. If you re-establish the golden core with water emperor sun swallowing secrets and then repair it with heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, top grade plus top grade, the resulting golden core should be even more powerful, and the culture heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, mainly rely on the origin chi of these heavenly dragon skeletons. The origin chi dragon's origin chi cultivation is complete, and the culture heavenly dragon star body tempering technique is slower, and without the culture water emperor sun swallowing secrets, these 7 heavenly dragon monster cores are basically useless. So it should be a good deal to choose recultivation water emperor sun swallowing secrets. It seems that you have already considered it carefully. Green-robed old man is no nonsense, coldly watching Wei Suo, talk about your overall plan. I will first abandon the cultivation base, recultivation water emperor sun swallowing secrets, these 7 heavenly dragon monster cores, which should be enough for me to bear the golden core, even more than the golden core second layer. Wei Suo also said without any nonsense. After that, I used heavenly dragon star body tempering technique to refining these heavenly dragon skeletons on hand. At that time, I will definitely make golden core a great treasure, far more than today. And the meat will definitely have further changes. In the long run, the next degree of culture will be a little faster than it is now. The 7 ancient heavenly dragons are not useful, it is better to replace the current cultivation base, and the cultivation base may be higher than before. Next, refining heavenly dragon's cheekbones, continue to temper the meat body and the great treasure golden core. Good. It seems that you have considered all the things in the market, and this is indeed worth it. Green-robed old man's eyes flashed a fanatical look, and you still have a lot of water attribute monster core on hand, you can use to enhance the cultivation base. Heaven level great shapeshift great art condensed golden core, and then heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, heaven level top rank, together with shapeshift great art, further strengthen the treasure, then what would be the great treasure? After hearing the conversation between Wei Suo and green-robed old man, Han Weiwei and others couldn't help but sigh, and their heads couldn't help but flash the thought. Wait, Wei Suo, you heaven overflowing river scroll, should not be at the true level of mystic level if it is direct culture, it is dangerous. But at this time, Shui Linger is watching heaven overflowing river scroll on the top of Wei Suo, seriously. I feel it too. But it doesn't matter, I can refining some heavenly dragon skeletons and boosting its powerful energy to above mystic level. Wei Suo also glanced at the water, and spiritual cheese amazing heaven overflowing river scroll said, now this powerful energy is not a great treasure, and great treasure can be up to a day or two. It should be enough. If you don't want to waste even a little heavenly dragon, you still have a different side. Shapeshift Great Art will let you upgrade the heaven overflowing river scroll to the mystic level as soon as possible. Green-robed old man looked at Wei Suo and Shui Linger, and seemed to think of something that made him extremely uncomfortable, and forced a surging sound. This, Wei Suo, under a slight glimpse, understood what green-robed old man said, and Shui Linger was unconsciously twitching, and the beautiful face was suddenly full red blush. Then you are going to scrap the cultivation base and refine the water emperor sun swallowing secrets at this time, Yin Liwa asked Wei Suo. You are still determined to return to Cloud Spirit Great Treasure to make your Yin Corp sect master. Wei Suo heard the meaning of Yin Liwa and looked at the glamorous beauty. Yin Liwa, there are many red marks in the slender neck of the white, which is obviously left by him. Sect master can't do it, but if I don't rush back, the people standing on my side will definitely be removed by Yin Meili. Yin Liwa looked at Wei Suo and said, if you want me to be responsible for you, then my secret place will come back to you after finishing the matter. Of course I am responsible. Wei Suo nodded and looked at Yin Liwa seriously. I am going to raise heaven overflowing river scroll to mystic level first, because this dragon burial mound, to the secret place is keel dust, maybe cultivation heavenly dragon star body tempering technique, more or less can absorb some origin chi. I promised you would send you back to Cloud Spirit Great Treasure, or if you wait for me for 2 more days, I estimate that at the latest 2 days, you should be able to raise heaven overflowing river scroll to mystic level first, then I send you Cloud Spirit Great Treasure, then find a secret place, discard the cultivation base, and refine the water emperor sun swallowing secrets? Well, anyway, Yin Meili will also receive news of Li Ziyi's madness. He is suspicious at the moment. If he is not sure if I have fallen, I should not dare to do it right away. Yin Liwa smiled. If you don't want to be late, then you will start cultivation at this secret place. Green-robed old man took a look at Wei Suo, cold hum, and, do not say I did not remind you, last you from coiling dragon reverend of those heavenly crystal emperor pill, you cultivation water emperor sun swallowing secrets. Anyway, the repair is very fast, direct refining water attribute monster core are the same, these medicine pi ll have nothing to do with you, or you can take it all out and fix it for them. Heavenly crystal emperor pill. When he heard green-robed old man say that, Wei Suo was stunned. He immediately saw his thoughts and took out a pill bottle from the ancient storage ring. These are heavenly crystal emperor pill? So much. As soon as I heard green-robed old man and Wei Suo's talk, I saw Wei Suo hand pill bottle with at least 100 medicine pill, Jia and Han Weiwei and others. What is Jade Heaven Sex Heavenly Crystal Emperor pill? They are all very clear. After the Qingcheng ruins came out, I was busy refining the two things. I didn't think about it for a while. Since you remember so clearly, why did you not remind me of a surging sound when they came to Zhangzhuayu and Shijiangqing last time? After taking out the pill bottle, Wei Suo looked at green-robed old man with a look of depression. With both of them and Feng Ziyu's cultivation base, they are given dozens of them. They should all be very hopeful to hit Golden Core realm. How do I know that you can't remember for a moment? I thought it was because you wanted to hide it yourself, and I was reluctant to give it. Green-robed old man has a look at Wei Suo. Screw your sister, Wei Suo is also speechless. If Feng Ziyu and other 3 people all go to Golden Core realm, they are now an amazing force. Not all of Yin Liwa are 6 Golden Core stage cultivators. It doesn't matter, anyway, we still have to go back and leave a part of them. Ji Ya looked at the way Wei Suo was speechless, but he was negotiating, the rest of Heavenly Crystal Emperor Pill, all to Wei Wei and Yuking's sister. We are now all in the Golden Core cultivation base, these medicine pill is the most great for them. Treasure. Well, anyway, a few of you may be embarrassed. These assignments will be good to me, leaving 30 of them, and the rest of Nangong Yuking and Han Wei are half green-robed old man, like a housekeeper, said straightforwardly, then looked at Wei Suo, and impatiently urged him, there is nothing wrong with you, you can start cultivation. It takes a little time, and there are 2 things to look at. After Wei Suo handed pill bottle directly to Nangong Yuking, some of the secret places of the god smiled and reached for the sky. Pa! A surging sound burst, I saw a blue-black brilliance, and I didn't know how many shots I rushed out. This blue-black brilliance is a black and black ghost. Mystic Fiend Ghost Claw. Now Wei Suo's, this Mystic Fiend Ghost Claw, is not only superficial, it seems to be a piece of great blue crystal stone with a small piece of great treasure, and the nails of the 10 fingers are like a flying sword with 10 handles. Sensually black and blue. The most important thing is that the surface of this black and black ghost claw has grown a blue hair. The blue hair of this root is not previously seen. At a closer look, there is also a flawed origin chi condense whose material looks very similar to the previous core of Ji Ya. It seems that this ghost claw is really like the claw of ancient Demon King. It is extremely terrifying, which makes people feel at first glance. How can this Mystic Fiend Ghost Claw's powerful energy improve so much? Ji Ya was stunned, and she was much more aware of Wei Suo's Mystic Fiend Ghost Claw than anyone else. The power of this Mystic Fiend Ghost Claw is now significantly stronger than before. This is something I don't want to understand. Wei Suo's face is a little thicker, and I took a look at Ji Ya and Nangong Yuking. Heavenly Dragon Baleful Aura and Day Burning with the Crystal Pair. This Mystic Fiend Yin Qi has no effect on the ablation. Has your cold core changed? Ji Ya's jade face suddenly became red. She suddenly understood the meaning of Wei Suo words, so much female cultivator inside, and Wei Suo cultivation Mystic Fiend great technique shapeshift great art is also only she and Nangong Yuking. Wei Suo's Mystic Fiend the ghost has played so great claw changes, most likely in the day's treasure WITH desire crystal drug masterpiece, and they in the unconscious lust conditions, by the way also familiar with the 2 shapeshift great art. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 604. Chapter 604 Pang Great Treasure Broken Arm. But when Ji Ya's face was red, the rest of Han Wei, Shui Ling and Yin Liwa's face, lust, were a bit weird. In addition to Yin Liwa's seemingly angry and funny look at Wei Suo's look, Han Wei and Shui Ling's face also had a blush, a little dodging the look of Wei Suo and others. It won't be you, the 3 of them were such gods, and suddenly Wei Suo was stunned. You said it. Yin Liwa saw the look of Han Wei and Shui Ling and everything seemed to be understood. Wei Suo was white, and the lips were lightly opened. A little blue light was shot and stayed in her. In front of you. This blue cold light is a small azure cold core with a huge egg. This, Wei Suo is even more dumbfounded. I have definitely not been this Dao technique shapeshift great art before, but now I will. You said what is going on. Yin Liwa glanced at Wei Suo, and the cold core was hidden in her mouth and turned into her ti. Wei Suo couldn't help but sweat. In the past, Yin Liwa and others did not, of course, naturally not. This can only be after the day of burning with the desire of the crystal, when the Wei Suo or Jia and Nangong looking past them. But think about it, of course, the possibility that Wei Suo passed to them is more great treasure. They have been unconsciously lust-shaped, and they will somehow make three people like this. Shapeshift great art, Wei Suo can't help but admire themselves. It is no wonder that Yin Liwa and Han Wei and others seem to be so tired and weak. It turned out that Yuan invented, no wonder their mystic fiend ghost claw will now change to such a point. But the power of mystic fiend ghost claw has improved too much. Before his mystic fiend ghost claw, even the power energy of Dao rank high grade was not enough, but now from the feeling that his mystic fiend ghost claw just caught it, it has even reached the power of mystic rank. Han Wei, your cold core is also offered to show me how. After the eyeball turned, Wei Suo looked at Han Wei and Shui Linger with a thick face. What Han Wei suddenly had a red face and gave Wei Suo a look. What else can you do? The power of this mystic fiend ghost claw is too great. Wei Suo was a bit embarrassed at the moment, but green-robed old man was very straightforward, saying, he asked you to sacrifice cold core, not just to figure out why. When I heard green-robed old man say this, Shui Linger didn't say much, an open mouth, and the cold core in Ti was turned out. Wei Suo at first glance, I saw that the cold core and Yin Liwa from Shui Linger were almost great, and there was nothing particularly unusual. The eyes of Wei Suo and others are all naturally collected by Han Wei. Seeing that everyone was looking at themselves, Han Wei slammed his feet and then went out and offered the cold core. This Han Wei's cold core was sacrificed, and some people's eyes were full of precious treasure. Han Wei's cold core, on the great treasure, and Yin Liwa, Shui Linger's cold core are almost great treasure, but the chilling above is a lot more than a few times. The thick chill not only makes the ambient temperature drop, but also the blue chill of the cockroach, which is as thick as a flame on the surface of this cold core. Is it because she is also wonderful furnace cauldron physique? Wei Suo looked at Han Wei's cold core. Should not. She should be just a general wonderful furnace cauldron physique, just a natural Yin Yuan. Yin Liwa shook her head immediately. Ice spiritual root. Wei Suo's sudden flash of intuition in his mind, spit out these three words. Green-robed old man and Yin Liwa and others were slightly stunned and immediately responded. It should be only possible. Mystic fiend, this heaven-level great art is also the ice shift great art, and the rest of the people are not abnormal at the moment. It can also rule out the role of external causes such as burning. The reason is that ice spiritual root can only add to this type of shape-shift great art. But before Wei Suo and Jia and Nangong Yuking dual cultivation, he didn't get any special secret place. Now, he can only explain the shape-shift great art, which is ice spiritual root male cultivator and ice spiritual root female cultivator dual cultivation can get a special good secret place. No problem. Han Wei also wanted to understand the reason, and the face was somewhat hot and received the cold core. Wei Suo, you just said that there are still two things to look at, what else is there? Nangong Yuking knew that Han Wei's face was actually very tender, so he immediately opened the topic. It is this: Wei Suo is also very familiar with Han Wei. If he knows that if he talks about it again, Han Wei must be angry, so he immediately reached out and grasped something in front of everyone. Storage bracelet. This thing has finally fallen down this time. Look at what's inside. As soon as I saw this, green-robed old man was suddenly excited. What the Wei Suo took out at the moment is the silver bracelet on the young man's secret place. The last time Wei Suo defeated the god of the secret place young man, the storage bracelet was taken away by the Kailan King water seal. This time the secret place young man collapsed, the storage bracelet was dropped directly and was acquired by Wei Suo. At first glance, this silver storage bracelet is inlaid with a number of tiny white crystal stones, like a grid. The silver bracelet and the white crystal stone are all covered with a Van Gogh-like rune. It doesn't look like the three sovereigns section, it should be the older ancient treasure. When it was against the gods of the secret place, Wei Suo saw the contents of this storage bracelet, just like the shapeshift great art great treasure of other great treasures, but only the true UN and divine consciousness. Looked at the appearance of the bracelet, and after seeing no special restrictions, Wei Suo immediately rushed into a true UN, and then divine consciousness swept away. Wei Suo's eyes flashed amazed light. The access to this storage bracelet is no different from that of the treasure receiving pocket and ancient storage ring, but the space inside is also divided into a grid, like a room. And this God's secret place young man has the three emperors' great extinction technique, before the cloud spirit continent and the God's secret place young intercourse hand. This God's secret place young people are a lot of shapeshift great art great treasure. In Wei Suo's imagine that this collection of young people's storage bracelet, shapeshift great art great treasure, etc. should be extremely amazing. But at the moment divine consciousness swept away, the storage bracelet stuff is extremely simple, with only two very weird things and four monster core looks. What good things are there? Take it out and have a look. As soon as I saw Wei Suo's surprised look, green-robed old man couldn't help but scream. Wei Suo didn't say anything, and under the brow, all the things in the storage bracelet were taken out. Do you know what this is? God's secret place. The thing of the storage bracelet of the young man emerged, and everyone in the room couldn't help but take a breath. The four monster core water spiritual chi that comes out of the storage bracelet are very full. They look like the monster core of the level 6 water attribute monster beast. It should be the secret of the young person. There is nothing special about it, but the other two things, it is amazing. One of its things is a piece of gold-colored fragment. The surface of this golden-colored fragment, and even the fractures, are countless tiny runes sparkling, and these runes are extremely primitive, at first glance, ancient things. The surface of the fragment is covered with all kinds of scars. It looks like a vicissitude of life. I don't know how many years have passed and how many powerful energy shocks. In terms of appearance, this mixed gold fragment looks like a piece of a clock, a tripod, and a tower-shaped shapeshift great art. But this piece of mixed gold fragment, now is a roof-like great treasure small, dozens of squares. A piece of fragment is just such a great treasure, the complete shapeshift great art great treasure tire naked body. How is Pang great treasure? Not only the great treasure, but the glimmer of light on this mixed golden fragment gives Wei Suo and others a pressure that is no less than the white ancient heavenly dragon, and it is still the white ancient heavenly dragon. A look up, the kind of Pang great treasure that comes out of a claw. Is this the legend of the ancient immortal artifact fragment? Green-robed old man sighed for a while, only to say such a sentence. Just a piece of fragment has such a breadth. If the complete shapeshift great art great treasure itself, it must be far mystic rank shapeshift great art great treasure. Wei Suo is also a bit stunned to see this fragment. There is only a slight origin chi on this fragment, and it is obvious that the powerful energy has been lost, but the origin chi on this fragment is extremely complicated. He clearly felt that these origin chi had a variety of astral origin chi. The sheer volume of astral origin chi is simply unimaginable. The type of astral origin chi that he can use with the heavenly dragon star body tempering technique is a bit like a drop in the sea, and 1,000th is not necessarily the same as the astral origin chi that is revealed on this fragment. The rune on this fragment is obviously like the stars in the sky, the incomparably vast and complicated, and the mysterious complexity of the shapeshift great art array is simply unimaginable. Wei Suo can be sure that this fragment, Even if the intercourse is tested in a commercial workshop like the ancient gathering pavilion, it is impossible to test its mystery. Because the general ancient treasure, the most is engraved several, dozens of shapeshift great art array, but this fragment of the shapeshift great art array, but thousands, tens of thousands. What is this again? Is it the ancient shapeshift great art great treasure fragment? At this point, looking at another weird thing, Han Wei couldn't help but exclaimed a surging sound. This other thing turned out to be an indigo broken arm. This broken arm looks like a cultivator with an elbow cut arm, and the palm of the hand and the cultivator's palm are no different in appearance. But this broken arm is a few feet long. This Pangret treasure's ultimate arm gives the first impression, just like an arm that the devil has broken. At this moment, there is no spiritual chi on the indigo arm, and the naked body seems to be woodized, but this broken arm also looks like skin, bones and meridians. To be sure, this broken arm should not be a shapeshift great art great treasure. The feeling of Wei Suo and green-robed old man is like the feeling of the golden core material after the spiritual chi completely lost. It really should be the arm of the cultivator. But how can a cultivator have such an arm? Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 605. Chapter 605 Ancient Cipher Text. Wei Suo looked at the arm for a moment, reached out and grabbed the arm and took it to the front. Wei Suo's eyes suddenly showed a look of surprise. On the indigo brown arm of this great treasure, there is a sandalwood-like aroma. Is this a broken arm of the divine mystic realm cultivator, divine mystic shapeshift great art? Shui Linger obviously smelled this faint scent, and couldn't help but exclaimed a surging sound. Divine mystic shapeshift great art's broken arm. The eyes of Yin Liwa and Ji Ya and others suddenly violently beat. This breath is exactly the same as the divine mystic realm cultivator, but I have never seen the divine mystic realm cultivator, nor the divine mystic shapeshift great art. This divine mystic shapeshift great art arm won't dissipate. Wei Suo looked at Shui Linger and Yin Liwa. Have you seen divine mystic shapeshift great art from divine mystic realm cultivator? Do you know anything about divine mystic shapeshift great art? Nopian Liwa immediately shook her head. My master is divine mystic realm cultivator, but we have never seen him show up divine mystic shapeshift great art, but the smell is very similar to his smell. Shui Linger looked at Wei Suo. Pa. Wei Suo paused a little and tried to incite a true Yuan, hitting the broken arm in front of him. The sturdy treasure's indigo blue arm immediately had a dull surging sound, but there was no damage. Although the broken arm looks like it has been woodized, the naked body is as strong as essence metal. Wei Suo, the words above are very strange. It seems that it is not the rune shapeshift great art array at this time. Han Wei was suddenly surprised and surging sound. What word? Wei Suo turned his head and saw only Han Wei's gaze, but was attracted by a secret place on the fragment of a small house roof. Immediately, not only Wei Suo, but the rest of the people immediately saw that the secret place had indeed dozens of singular characters, forming a square inscription. This word should be the secret of the ancient sect. Green-robed old man immediately screamed as soon as he saw the dozens of lines like classics. This is really not the rune that makes up the shapeshift great art. What is the secret of the ancient sect? Do you know the meaning of these words? The eyes of Wei Suo and others immediately gathered in green-robed old man. It's useless, unless it's a descendant of this ancient sect, or if you get this ancient sect's secret book, you can know the meaning of these words. Green-robed old man shook his head. The secret of the ancient sect is a sect-specific word, usually in the ancient normal words, and adds a lot of specific strokes, so each word looks extremely complicated. This kind of secret is in order to prevent some of sect's tricks, shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art, from spreading. Some important tricks, shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art, use this secret record. Only the specific elders in sect know the true meaning of these secrets. And many of these elders are also one step in life for section. When I heard green-robed old man say, Wei Suo, and others immediately turned to look at the dozens of lines. Sure enough, every word is extremely cumbersome, and every word has the same feeling that a cultivator is full of arrows. That said, this thing is probably a cannot be passed on secret of a sect in ancient times, but now it does not know what shapeshift great art knows. Wei Suo looked at the dozens of lines and asked. Green-robed old man looked at Wei Suo and didn't speak because he knew the problem and he didn't have to answer at all. Wei Suo didn't say much, and reached out and took the two eccentric things back to storage bracelet. It is impossible to know what is the use of secret place for the time being, and he does not want to waste any time. For Wei Suo, this storage bracelet is very useful. First, the space for accommodating things is several times larger than the ancient storage ring. The other point is that there are a lot of plaids inside, which is very good. Intercourse Wei Suo's appetite for sorting things. At that time, you can take a few treasure-receiving pockets. The most important point is that this God's secret place young person should not be the cultivator of Tianqian great treasure, and this storage bracelet should be used, it should be no problem. This flame sparrow monster mirror will give you the first. This is the shapeshift great art of the flame sparrow monster mirror's controls, and the dark emperor sword cheese shapeshift great art. With these, it's okay to deal with Yin Meili. After putting away two weird and amazing things, Wei Suo reached out and pointed the red ancient mirror to Yin Liwa. At the same time, he took out a note with a note, recording the shapeshift great art and dark emperor sword chi of the controls. After the shapeshift great art, it was also handed to Yin Liwa. God's secret place young man's nine-headed son golden crow, but also gave him a great treasure. After absorbing the 9 sun golden crows, the former Wei Suo controls, the flame sparrow monster mirror, have already felt that the ancient great treasure is now close to the mystic level. Yin Meili is nothing more than the cultivation base of the golden core first layer. Even if it has some powerful means, Yin Liwa's lust with the mystic level shapeshift great art great treasure is not likely to be Yin Liwa's opponent. Next, Wei Suo was not in a hurry to check out mind-devouring bug's current strength of naked body. Instead, he took out some monster beast bodies and continued to cultivate mind-devouring bug. Then he made one of the most ruined waters. Attribute heavenly dragon. The skeleton was taken out and directly began to be refined in this dragon burial mound. Just after Wei Suo's renovation at Dragon Burial Mound, ready to upgrade the powerful energy of heaven overflowing river scroll to heaven level within 2 days, Black Jade Ridge, a white gold-plated shapeshift great art, is spotless. Xuanhuan, who is a general sun, is still sitting on a dark green crystal column. The white bracelet is still suspended above his head. The spirit light on the white bracelet is still above the bracelet, forming a bodhisattva-like light and shadow of the male and female, solemnly great treasure, an ice crystal-like origin chi, constantly escaping from this bracelet, penetrates Xuanhuan's heavenly spirit. After a long time, Xuanhuan, who had been repairing the closed eyes, suddenly opened his eyes. He is facing heaven's dome, which is facing the secret place, and the sky between heaven's dome and the Black Jade Ridge is a bright escape light that slams into the Black Jade Ridge. Looking at this escape light, Xuanhuan did not have any movements, even the white bracelet above the head was not put away, but his face was a hint of laughter and laughter. When the Black Jade Ridge was about a dozen miles away, the escape light stopped. Qi Longshan, Qingping Si True Martial Sect Young Lord Su. Immediately, this escape light has such a surging sound. The cultivator above the escape light turned out to be Qi Longshan and Qingping. In other words, both Qi Longshan and Qingping are out of danger in Qingcheng ruins, and they have not fallen, and the two have already gathered together. Oh! Fellow Daoist Qi and Green fellow Daoist went to see me at Black Jade Ridge. Xuanhuan heard the surging sound from the escape light, faintly said. After a slight meal, the escape light slammed into the Black Jade Ridge. After a while, the escape light fell straight down and the two cultivators landed under Xuanhuan. One of the male cultivator gray-robed horse faces, ordinary appearance, is Qi Longshan, another female cultivator wearing cyan shapeshift great art clothing, the face is beautiful, it is Qingping. I have seen young Lord Su after Su Qianhuan's position fell, Qi Longshan and Qingping took a bow to Su Qianhuan and looked very respectful. Oh! But Su Qianhuan is still sitting, just a faint sweep of the two. I don't know why the two fellow deists came to see me. It doesn't matter. We came to this secret place and wanted to ask Lo Su for Wei Suo. After Qi Longshan's vision flickers slightly, there is no nonsense, Shen's surging sound said. Let's ask for success for Wei Suo. Su Qianhuan's face still hasn't changed. I look at Qi Longshan and Qingping with a playful look. Why, is this person having a great treasure relationship with the two fellow deists? We and fellow deist Wei do have some intercourse lust, and fellow deist Wei has a life-saving grace for me. Qingping hesitated a little and said, so we still want to ask young Lord Su to open one side and put fellow deist Wei on the horse. If it is the same as my identity, I would like to mention this matter to me. But if I remember it well, the two are just ordinary rogue cultivators. It seems that there is no qualification for saying this to me. Su Qianhuan looked at Qi Longshan and Qingping and smiled lightly. I know this naturally, so I won't ask for young master for no reason. Qi Longshan Shen surging sound, our husband and wife want to use one thing to intercourse for fellow deist Wei. Oh! Su Qianhuan smiled and looked at Qi Longshan and Qingping, if this person is not in my hand. He is not in the young master hand. When I heard Su Qianhuan, the eyes of Qi Longshan and Qingping were all bright, but Qi Longshan immediately said that he would use the thing to ask young master and then not to deal with fellow deist Wei. Take a look at the two things of fellow deist. Is there enough weight? Su Qianhuan is still a very indifferent table lust, sweeping two people. Heaven Yuan sacred fruit. After Qi Longshan and Qingping looked at each other, Qi Longshan bit his teeth and spit out the four words. Heaven Yuan sacred fruit. Su Qianhuan's eyes flickered for a moment, and for the first time, his eyes were on the two. Yes, we know that this Heaven Yuan sacred fruit has a naked body. Qi Longshan looked at Su Qianhuan Shen surging sound, as long as young Lord Su has let go of fellow deist Wei, we can inform young Lord Su about the location of this Heaven Yuan sacred fruit. Oh! Really? Su Qianhuan smiled and grew up. At the same time, with a wave of hand, a circle of crystal clear cold, instantly rushed to Qi Longshan and Qingping. Su Qianhuan, you are doing what? Qi Longshan and Qingping suddenly exclaimed a surging sound. However, the two men just flashed out two layers of brilliance. A faint white figure suddenly appeared in the secret place not far behind the two. Pa! A first time after a white light, it was an instant that defeated the two layers of brilliance outside the two. Ka! After the cold, Qi Longshan and Qingping were all iced in a group of crystal ice.